we welcome Marc Marginedas, a journalist with years of experience in covering conflict zones all over the world. Marc, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you to you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome. So you have covered some of the world's darkest conflicts. Do you still believe journalism has the power to change the course of events?
Indeed. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this job. Had I lost hope, I would be probably, doing other things in my life. I think, being a journalist is you understand that you're not going to be particularly well paid, because this is a career, this is a profession that is not well paid, as all of us know. But it's also, part of our salary is the satisfaction of empowering the society and making the society less easy to manipulate. I think we're living in very dark times in which very powerful forces have contested the concept of truth, and and even governments have decided that they want to engage with the societies not by telling the truth, but also by using fake news or manipulative stories. I think that we journalists are one of the last sort of institutions that prevent these dark forces from succeeding. So that's why I think we are more needed than ever, and the fact that we still work, that we need to continue working, otherwise we would have societies totally controlled by fear and by misinformation.
So can you tell me if you remember any moments of courage and resilience in your generalistic field?
I don't like very much talking about me. Everybody says that that being kidnapped, all of us who were kidnapped in Syria in the year 2013 were very brave. But at the same time, I consider that it was more of a work accident than a trauma. A trauma is that, for instance, if you're a local politician in the Basque Country, or you're being kidnapped by the separatist terrorist group, for instance, that would be a trauma. But in our case, I would repeat the words of my colleague Ricardo García Villanova, who was kidnapped alongside with. We share captivity together. He said exactly that it's just a work accident that can be also very damaging, can be also very painful, but it's not the same thing. But we live we as war correspondents, we are used to violence, and this is something that this is not like it's not like your life has changed from one in a matter of hours. It's just it's a situation for which you've been prepared psychologically. And that changes completely how you react to the situation.
So after your captivity, how did you find your way back to journalism in not just a profession, but something that still had a meaning?
The best thing to kind of overcome a situation like this is to find that it's meaningful. For instance, I'm going to give you an example. The mother of James Foley, the hostage that was executed the first in front of the cameras by the extremists that we call, nicknamed by the media as Jihadi John. This mother, can you imagine something more painful than losing a son? Not just losing a son, which is already pretty traumatic, but losing it, being beheaded in front of the entire world. Can you imagine the pain that this mother has gone through? But she has found a meaning for all this suffering. What's the meaning for this suffering? She set up an organization, an NGO, that is lobbying for the rights of American citizens kidnapped or illegally detained abroad. So this has given a certain meaning to the suffering that she went through. In my case, I took this experience as a professional experience, because as a hostage of the Islamic State, I could see things that normally a journalist cannot see. For instance, the penetration of Russian-speaking agents and Syrian Syrian intelligence agency in the Islamic State. What happened? The Islamic State emerged from a movement that wanted democracy and freedom for Syria, and all this movement turned into monstrosity. What happened? Why did it happen? Why the revolution that wanted that was fighting for certain values ended up, defending completely the contrary values? This is a process that needs to be investigated. And thanks to the fact that I was in captivity, I could understand how it went. And I'm about to kind of expose it in books and in my reporting. So for me, it also, I could see that there was a meaning in the suffering my family and myself went through.
Okay, so what role does journalism play today in this modern world, in social media era? Do you think journalism still has that power?
Indeed, otherwise that's why they want to silence us. That's why we see, for instance, that in America, Trump wants to flood the pool of journalists with influencers. An influencer is not a journalist. An influencer is an influencer, somebody who has taken a stand, somebody who has a position on certain events, somebody who doesn't abide by the thing that makes different journalists from influencers and from propagandists is the attachment to truth. Influencers basically, it's all about having an influence, but in our case it's about telling the truth. Of course, always we have problems, we have bias, but it's completely a different thing. We are not committed to an institution. We write and we report, and that's what really makes these social network moguls like Elon Musk or other people make so fearful, because we don't play by their rules. We don't defend. We're not campaigning. We are just telling the truth, and this is something that they have an ability to control us.
Okay, so last but not least, do you have any words of encouragement for young journalists who are trying to get in the field?
I think, first of all, first of all, I think journalism is the best profession in the world. I see that, for instance, in my family, I have members who obviously have very good positions in private companies who earn a lot of money. But for instance, when they come back from holidays, they always feel depressed because they go back to work. In my case, I never feel depressed when I go back to work. It's just because for me, it's just entertaining. It's almost, or even more, being doing my job or being on holiday. So, and this is something which is. How can I say? This is just something that it's completely. Sorry, 1 second.
Take your time.
Let me feel. It's priceless. That's the word. The word is priceless. It's priceless going back to work and feeling that you're really enjoying yourself and you're doing a job. I insist the satisfaction of empowering the society in these dark times in which forces want to create chaos. I think it's this part of our salary, this satisfaction, and it doesn't match, for instance, any amount of money that can pay you.
Thank you so much for this talk. It's been a privilege.
It's been a privilege for me. Thank you so much for inviting me over.